What is going on, you all? Welcome back to Timster. Today we're discussing why Quest 3 is going to be the best overall VR headset. The two juggernauts of Meta and Apple had their standoff in almost back-to-back conferences, displaying what they're about to offer in the near future. Quest 3, although more of an extension of a Quest 2, I like to call it a Quest 2.5, it's going to have subtle changes, but still an upgrade that we're all looking for and moving a step forward for the VR culture. On the contrast side, Apple is focusing heavily, and I mean heavily, in mainstreaming, trying to gather in businesses and corporate to be able to utilize their actual Apple Vision Pro. Both headsets are going to dominate in their own aspirations. Apple being that they can cater to, one, they can cater to their loyal audience. Two, they can gather in far more of a commercial and mainstream audience versus Meta, who just has our in-depth vision of gaming and fitness in virtual reality. And that's exactly what they cater to. Meta is far more in depth with gaming, aside from their Quest Pro, which definitely flopped because they are heavily a gaming platform, at least for now. Quest Pro definitely failed because they tried to alter their actual focus from where they built heavily an influence on gaming, which is affordable gaming also, and they try to go the other route and it just didn't work. Apple at launch is already giving us that idea of like, hey, we're gonna be this type of headset and this is what we're gonna do, and we're not even gonna mention the term VR. We're just utilizing our actual Vision Pro OS. We're utilizing XR, mixed reality, and pass-through, and we're using AR implementation of just video chats and conferences. While Meta does have their color pass-through, it is still much more gaming. Now, why is Quest 3 still going to be the better offer when we have so much headsets coming across, especially like PSVR 2 still on board? Simple answer is that it's a standalone that's extremely affordable. You don't need any other additional equipment, the ease of use, and it's an entry-level VR headset. That's what we look for when we want to do virtual reality, because virtual reality is so much of a configuration to jump into that the more that we make it complicated in the process, it kind of just lures people away until it's an ease of usage. It's like Apple Vision Pro simplified to an extent to where they're trying to make it an extensive computer, utilizes their cloud format, connects seamlessly to your Mac, to your iPad, to your iPhone, etc. While Meta is a full-on primary utilizer, which is why it's a standalone VR headset. There's no sense in comparing these two headsets because these two headsets are just way different from each other and their price point is insanely different. But Meta Quest 3 is going to dominate solely because of VR gaming, and it's going to dominate solely because they're just keeping that vision on what made them popular with the Quest 2. Quest 2 sold highly due to everything what was going on in the world. Everything was coming to a halt, into a pause in the world at that time with pandemic and all that. But Quest 2 made it available, especially when consoles were selling out and everything was going crazy. Quest 3 is probably not going to sell as much as Quest 2, like what I said, because there's not like a major difference and there's not really a huge title coming on over the Quest to really lure people and convince people to buy a Quest 3, and consoles are all back on shelves and all that stuff. But what is going to captivate an audience for Quest 3 is you can try and see how your body reacts to these types of motions, because you can get sickness, it can hurt your eyes, it can be just a whole different experience that's very shocking to people. It can be different how they enter these realms because there is a lot of stuff going on. So like a slow way to get into it, especially with less intensive graphics, is to always start off with something like an entry-level VR headset. So it's great for kids, it's great for people that are not as tech savvy. With a VR headset that understands the real culture of virtual reality, the social essence, the gaming, and the actual fitness part of it. And I'm not saying no other headset does that, it's just they don't do it at a starting point that's easy. When I first got into virtual reality, I did so much research, and Quest helped out that research so much because I was like, whoa, I could just put it on and start and just have a Wi-Fi. That's it. Like, that's literally just have a phone. I had did it before the updates and know that consumers can help mainstream this if they're into gaming. So although it hasn't really got an overall universal gaming persuasion towards that audience yet, it hasn't really gained an overall mainstream component. It's combating the complications of what virtual reality is, and it simplifies it, and they're getting better at it. Other headsets, you have to either spend a lot of money, that's one, but two, you have to be either tethered or you need a PC for PC VR. PSVR 2, you're definitely going to need something. Three juggernauts that could even try to commercialize. It's Apple, it's Meta, and it's Sony. Sony already kind of configured that they are gaming, but they're exclusive. Obviously, you need a PS5, and you're entailed to their brand only. Not actually mentioning PCVR. PCVR, you need a PC that can be at least respectable and reputable to be able to run virtual reality and show it off as content or share it with your friends or do whatever you're trying to do with VR. Meta Meta itself brings those, probably not the best of graphics obviously, but it brings those aspirations. It just kind of clears out that grayscale, that gray area of what we're all trying to research and figure out. There's so much things to research when it comes down to virtual reality, and Meta allows you to say, hey, skip the research and just put on the headset and we're good to go. We did it all for you. There's games on there, there's downloading, you can do everything. There's App Lab games, there's the store. I feel that that's always going to be a win. How can we get this simplified to where people can understand? Quest 3's vision and mission, and Meta in general, is that their vision is going to be to make it seamlessly, like if you're playing flat screen gaming, to not have to go through all these steps and all this stuff. That's why the wireless keep winning, because when I have a long day, I just put on the headset and turn it on. I could always do PC VR, and I could have gone and got a PSVR 2. Quest does everything that I want. It can be both. I can put the Quest into a PC if I felt like it, or I can just use it standalone. A lot of the times my footage is all standalone. That's what I enjoy most, because it's easier and it gets to the point. That's how Meta Quest is going to continuously win until somebody figures out what their blueprint is and maximizes it. And the only one that had an actual real in-depth chance to combat it was Apple VR, especially launching their event a few days after Meta's. They neglected to actually give into gaming aside from announcing some Unity stuff. They have their mission and vision of what they're going to do, at least moving forward, at $3,500 USD, which is going to obviously not capture the eyes of gamers, at least today, while a Quest will always capture a gamer's aspect. So for right now, the best overall in terms of being able to be an all-in-one, shooken up to the best of its ability at terms of execution, of being able to be on your head in terms of actual GPU or CPU type performances and hardware, and just everything being literally right here on your head. Quest 3, Quest in general, is gonna be the best VR headset you can dive into overall, man. Have that price point starting as an entry VR headset. Just wanted to share my insights in this because I still get comments every day in terms of how you can use a Quest 2, how to jump into it, how to get into VR. And you got to remember everything that comes along with virtual reality. Like what I said, motion sickness and headaches, and that's why it's best to not blow all your money until you get used to it. It's for having those training wheels, and for also getting all the way to an advanced. You can always go in that route, and Quest is very dynamic and adaptive with that, and so therefore it's going to remain that. Quest looks to take over another year, and that's why it's the best overall VR headset. Comment in the comment section below, let me know what you're excited for with Quest 3, or if you have any other VR headsets, or just if you're rocking with the OG Quest, man. Just Quest 1, 2, coming around with Quest 3. I love y'all so much, and I appreciate the support. Peace.